One Rental at a Time is a different channel because we bring on experts from across the industry. We have both Dustin and Jonathan from Conway Home Loans. How you doing, guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for being here. Dustin, how are you?
Great, thank you.
So we're going to share something with the audience today that frankly is shocking, unexpected, but actually does occur a little bit more frequently than the average person thinks. And that is DSCR loans being particularly better priced than conventional. I don't think a lot of people even think that is possible, but as of today, the 25th of May, 2023, it appears to be happening. So you were going to give some real world examples because I think you've just priced some loans. So give us the caveats, give us the setup, and let's talk about what's what.
Yeah. So we wanted to kind of do a little bit of visualization of the mathematics of how the investment loan world is currently. And Dustin actually priced this out this morning. So we wanted to, if viewers and anyone is following along, they could kind of write down the scenario, envision the scenario. And then we'll do a side-by-side comparison on conventional investment property loan versus DSCR right now. So
Okay.
the scenario in both cases is we're going to start with a single family residence, 740 FICO, 75% loan to value on like $1 million property. So that's a $750,000 loan amount.
Okay.
And then in this scenario, because it's one rental at a time and everyone's looking at great deals, right? Not bad deals. The debt coverage ratio in terms of expected rents is going to be greater than 125%.
Okay. So bigger than more than 1.25. Got it.
1.25, correct. Because obviously we're writing great deals. So in that scenario, this morning, when we priced it out, conventional par, which is no buy down on the rate, was 7.375. Wow. Okay, so that's actually a monthly payment of $51.80.
Okay.
Now, if you were to buy that down with 2 points, paying to buy down the rate, you'd be at 6.375.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's going to cost you 15 grand.
Yeah.
I was just going to do that. Just so people do the math, right? 2 points means 2% of the loan amount, which in this example is $750K, 750 times 2%, $15,000 to take the rate down to 6 3/8. Okay.
Correct.
Gotcha.
And then the monthly payment for that one is $46.79.
Okay. So you're saving rough and tough $500.
$500, right?
Okay.
So that's the conventional scenario. Now,
it's a 30-year fixed.
30-year fixed, yeah, 30-year fixed conventional. Obviously, there's no other option than that really for the conventional side. You wouldn't really go 20 or 25-year anyways for that. But now, in the DSCR scenario, today for that same loan, it's actually 7 1/8, 7.125 on a 30-year fixed. So that actually, starting wise, on the monthly payment is a little less at $50.52.
Okay, so just by switching loan product, conventional to DSCR, you're saving $128 just by changing loan products.
Yep.
Okay.
And then now, if you we can't actually buy it down 2 points on this scenario because we can't go more or lower than 675 for this particular scenario. If we go 675 and you buy it down 1.5 points, so the rate's higher, buy down's a little more expensive, right? So now you're at 1.5 points, which is that's 11 grand essentially.
Okay. Yep.
That would be a monthly payment of $48.64.
Okay.
Fully amortizing. So now, if we compare the two payments, obviously, if you didn't buy it down, DSCR today, better scenario.
Yep.
If you do buy it down, now conventional might be a little better of a scenario, right? For an extra 4 grand. However, this is where it gets a little interesting because with DSCR, we have the option to go interest only, right?
Ah, yes.
30-year fixed with a 10-year interest only.
Okay.
Which actually allows for the cash flow to be much better.
Okay.
So now on that same scenario, if you do a DSCR at a 7.125, which again is the same par, the monthly payment now is $44.53.
Wow. Okay.
Which means that it's, from a conventional standpoint, you're about $725, $730, give or take.
Yep.
Lower on the interest only scenario than the fully amortizing scenario. Well, now, why would you go that way? Because you want to make the cash flow even better on a monthly basis, and because we all probably know that people are going to refi in the next 5 to 10 years. You have that interest only period where you're fixed. You can make your payments, do all that, and maintain a lower monthly payment, lower baseline. Now, the other interesting thing is, now if you go to 6.75 and you do that, buy down of, let's say, 1.5 to 2 points down to 6.75. Now, before it was 48.64 on fully amortizing, and then conventional at 6.3 was 46.79. Now the payment on this one, because it's interest only, is 42.18.
Oh, wow.
So you're actually saving, even though the rate is higher than the conventional, you're saving $460 in monthly cash flow.
Yeah, why pay the bank? Why have equity pay down? You're probably early in the game, get the cash flow, keep it. I think most people think in the next 10 years rates will be lower than 7%. I think that's a reasonable assumption.
Yeah.
That's pretty, and again, I think when most people think conventional versus DSCR loans, they just always think DSCR is more expensive. And at least today, as of the 25th of May, it's not. I think clearly that your example is amazing.
Yeah. And here's the thing that I like to remind a lot of investor clients is, and everyone gets so caught up in the rate, right? Rate. But I'm like, hey, I always ask them a question. Hey, when you make your monthly payments, do you pay your rate or do you pay the payment, right? What's actually most important to you on the piece of paper, right? So, and always 10 times out of 10 as an investor, you are always paying the payment, right? It doesn't matter whether the rate's 12%, 15%, it's just the cost of money, right? What really matters is your cash flow on the payment, right? So in this scenario, we're looking at 6.3 versus 6.7, 6.3 being conventional, 6.7 being DSCR. The monthly payment difference, you're actually increasing your cash flow by $450 a month by going DSCR versus conventional 30-year fixed fully amortized.
Yeah, so I just want to kind of clean some stuff up on this video because if you watch some of our videos from a year ago, I was kind of uncomfortable with interest only because I thought rates were near historic lows. I think today it's a very reasonable guess, and frankly, I might make this bet as well, that rates will be somewhat lower, probably a point and a half lower sometime over the next decade. So if I was buying a deal today, I would seriously consider 10 years interest only. That is very different than a year and a half ago. I wouldn't have touched it with a 10-foot pole. But today, could we go higher? Sure. Are we going to be higher in 5 years? Maybe. But I'm willing to make a 10-year bet. I don't know that I would make a 2-year bet. I might make a 5-year bet, but I would make a 10-year bet if all that makes sense.
And remember, the reminder is like, look, you are fixing it in for 10 years and fixing it in for 30, right? So it's not like we're telling you to take an ARM. This is a 30-year.
No, it's not an ARM. It's not an ARM. No.
Yeah. So it's a fixed term the entire way. So worst case scenario, if everything goes wrong, the world goes to hell, and now rates are 20% at the end of 10 years, you have
your payment.
7 fixed for 20-year amortizing. Your payment's less there even on 20 years than it will be on a 15-20%. So that was on a single family residence. Now in comparison, I also want to do a multifamily, like a 2 to 4 unit, really quick, because it's kind of the same difference, right? So it's a 75% LTV on $1 million property, so $750,000 loan, same thing. Debt coverage being over 1.25, which is more likely actually on the 2 to 4 unit than it is on the single family.
For sure.
And then being at 740 FICO. roughly.
Okay.
So on the conventional scenario today, same thing, no buy down, par is 7.5%. So slightly higher than single family, obviously. It's multifamily.
Yep.
Now, the monthly payment on that is $52.44.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you did that same 2-point buy down, which again is the 15 grand, you'd get yourself on a conventional loan on a 30-year fixed down to a 6.625. Okay. So your monthly payment is actually going to be $48.02.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. And by the way, just to clarify, on the conventional, we're talking about principal and interest, no taxes, no insurance, just principal and interest.
Gotcha.
Fully amortizing 30-year fixed. Now, for the same scenario on a DSCR loan, we're talking the starting rate par with no buy down or whatsoever. It's 7.25. 30-year fixed. So that means the monthly payment is $51.16. So just from the get-go, you're actually lower at just the starting rate on a DSCR loan than you are on a conventional loan by $130.
Okay.
And then on that same scenario, but the rate's a little higher, obviously, on a on DSCR for this one. Same scenario as a single family. If you want to buy it down 2 points, you're getting it down to 675.
Okay. Yep.
And that monthly payment is $48.64, which ends up being about $60 higher than the conventional loan at 6.6. So makes sense. Obviously, that's an eighth of a percent, right? But that also shows you that an eighth of a percent is not that much in payment.
Yeah, $60.
$60. Now, what most people will do in this scenario is, and what we would recommend is, again, like what we just talked about, interest only. Increase the cash flow, fix it in, increase the cash flow. Now, for that same 7.25 on the 30-year fixed interest only, now instead of looking at a 51.16, which is already lower than the conventional par, you're looking at 45.31 and a 7.25. So 7.25 rate, 45.31 monthly payment, interest only.
Yep.
So you're saving $700 out the gate just from switching it from 30-year fixed to interest only.
Nice.
Now, if you bought it down, the 6.75 that we talked about on interest only, now your monthly payment is $42.18.
Oh, wow. Big difference.
Big difference. So now you're looking at a difference between $42.18, let's say on a 6.75 versus a conventional 6.6 at $4,800.
Right.
So it's almost a $600 difference in payment if you wanted to bring it down. Obviously, if you compare from the starting rate, it's even bigger difference. Right?
Yeah.
And that allows for, again, maximizing cash flow. And the main primary focus on investment properties, especially, is the payment. The rate never really matters as much as the actual payment, because the rate could be 20%, but if the payment, is like less and it actually allows you to cash flow, then, it makes sense. Right. And you get to write all of it off anyways on your schedule.
Yeah. It's all interest payment. This is why, folks, this is why you're on the channel every week, is because you provide this just real world stuff. If somebody wanted to reach out and run their scenario by you guys, how would they reach out?
Go to convoyhomeloans.com and let us know you came from ORAT.
Yeah, folks, go to Convoy Home Loans, let them know come from ORAT. This is the kind of stuff you're going to get, because if you do that, you will get either Dustin or Jonathan. They do not let you work with the little schmuckety schmucks. You get the two guys at the top. All right, folks, take care of yourself. Have a wonderful week. Thank you so much.